what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, as you cannot tell by the hat, we are going to be covering the Baltimore Orioles. What the fuck happened to them? They got swept by the Rangers. Coming into the playoffs, they were the number 1 seed. They had 100+ wins. Everybody thought, oh my god, this is the turnaround for the Orioles. Past couple of seasons, they've been winning 60, maybe 70 wins plus. They went through a rough stretch there. But then they went through the farm system, they kind of rebuilt, they made their team better, and they finally get back to the playoffs. But the one thing you can't do when you win 100 games, you're the number 1 seed, you're supposed to be the team that everybody's supposed to fear, you don't want to play the number 1 seed. The Rangers looked at you and said, oh, them? That's who we gotta play? Okay. So we're going to briefly kind of run through the series, kind of what went wrong, why the Orioles lost the series, and then I'm going to kind of discuss the future for the Orioles and why people need to just pump the brakes on the panic button. Because I'm seeing a lot of people actually freaking out and saying that they need to start over. These players are not that good. They need to fire the manager and all this bullshit. I'm going to need y'all to pump the brakes a little bit. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this. So if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. So let's go and kind of discuss the 3-game series they had against the Texas Rangers. They obviously, first game, 3-2. It's an okay loss. You look at it and you say, okay, let's bounce back tomorrow. What do? 11-8. What the fuck was that pitching? Next game, 7-1. I'm going to pretty much say it now. The pitching was not the strong suit coming into these playoffs. I believe they had a starting pitcher go down kind of midway through the season. He was trying to get back for the playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong, Orioles fans. But the one thing that did really hurt their pitching staff was Felix Bautista, their closer. He went down, I think, like 2 weeks before the playoffs started. Now, you might say that doesn't really hurt them that much because he's more of a 9th inning, maybe extra inning to last inning type of pitcher. And I would say you're goddamn correct. But he could have came in like 8th, 9th inning moments. Say like right here with this 3-2 loss. I realized they didn't really score anything after the 6th inning. But if the game would have went into a more crucial moment toward the later of the game, they would have needed Bautista, and with him not there, I feel like the Orioles still would have thrown this game. So let's kind of go through the games and pretty much understand why the Orioles lost. Obviously, in the first game, they did not do well. They had only 5 hits throughout the entirety of the game, but the pitching, it was a lot better in that game. In the second game, as you can see here, 11-8, the pitching was not there. 1 2/3 inning pitch, 6 hits, 5 earned, only had 2 strikeouts, but 4 walks. You're not winning that game. And it sucked because in the first game, the bats were not there, but the pitching was. In this game, the bats were there, as you can see. Hayes got involved, Hicks got involved, Gunnar Henderson got involved, he had a home run. The guys were getting involved, they were putting the ball in play. It's just the pitching. The pitching left the game in that second inning, and it never returned. I'm going to say this about the third game. I feel like the Orioles, they came into that game thinking, okay, we have a chance to kind of bring it back. But as you can see here, the second that second inning happened, all hope was lost. They were hitting homers left and right, putting on the runs within a hurry. And once again, pitching hurt them. 1 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned, 1 walk, not even a strikeout. The pitching hurt them. Now moving over to the hitting side of things, you can see here, not a lot of hits. Not a lot of hits. When your team is like doing nothing to help out the pitchers, like I understand he did suck. Yes, I'm saying that now. He did suck. 7 earned runs, you can't let that happen. But in the way of this kind of phrase, you are the number 1 seed. You won 101 games. Look like it. Now, I found this article of a writer who's kind of talking about the Orioles. Same thing as I'm doing right now. He was pretty much telling everybody why the Orioles will be fine going forward. And the reason why is as it reads here. A lot of the young players the Orioles have, the Orioles control them for like the next 3 to 5 years. And when I say control them, for those of you who do not understand the way the MLB works, basically when you are drafted to a place, or if you're like traded somewhere in your early days of in the Major League Baseball, you are stuck with that team until you're about 8th season, I believe. I think it's like the 4th or 5th season. That's when you get like arbitration, where you can kind of pick your money if you think you're worth $10-20 million a year, and you can say I'm worth that much money, but it's only going to be on like a 1-year, maybe 2-year deal at a time. Generally, when a player gets to the age of like 23, 26 years old, that's where they can then sign a big time contract, and you can kind of choose where you want to go. But in the Orioles case, like I said in the intro, they've been busy with the farm system, drafting guys, developing them, and as you can see, the talent is there. Adley Rutschman, the catcher, I realized he didn't have a good series, but he is only 25 years old. He had a great season this year, and he's under team control through 2027. 4 years they own this guy. Gunnar Henderson, he's probably going to win AL Rookie of the Year this year. 22 years old. They have him through 2028. 2028. And then I realized the pitching wasn't that good, but Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez, they're here through 2028. And then some of the other pieces that they have that are kind of more of the slept on pieces, Mountcastle, Mullins, Hayes, They're here through 2026 and 2025. And oh, did I forget about Hicks and O'Hearn? They're also here for quite a while. And then the backup catcher, the highest paid player for the Orioles, a backup catcher, James McCann, who is not even being paid mostly by the Orioles. As you can see, the New York Mets are paying $12.125 million in his salary to basically play against them. And to make it even better, the Orioles are not really paying a lot of money for the roster. They're paying only 29th in the league, 29th ranked payroll in the MLB. And they had a great season. Now, the ways I would fix the season, let's move on to that part of this. The owner, he needs to dig a little in the pockets. And what I mean by that is, obviously you bring the same roster back, but there's going to be some free agents next year. Look at your pitchers. Do you trust these pitchers to go back next season if you make the playoffs or even do good next year, and try and take these pitchers back into the postseason? Because I feel like the batters and the position players you have, phenomenal. One of the things I have heard people saying is, obviously it's the first time a lot of these guys have been in the postseason. First postseason jitters. Maybe it was just, it's all new to them. They weren't used to it. Rangers, they've been here before. A lot of the players on there have been with other teams that have been in the postseason before, so they knew what they were doing when they got here. And the Orioles pretty much just ran into a buzzsaw. Orioles pretty much need to look at these two guys, and Bradish and Rodriguez, and say, do they want to bring them back? And not exactly bring them back, but make them be the lead pitchers for this rotational bullpen. Because if not, the Orioles owner needs to possibly throw around, I'd say at least 20-30 million extra to try and go out and get some starting pitchers. I truly believe if the Orioles had anything of a decent pitcher, maybe like some of these free agents you might see in, say, if Max Scherzer doesn't play play in the spot he's in next year, maybe you get a Shane Bieber leaving Cleveland. Maybe you can get, I know this is way out of their league in pay, but a Shohei Ohtani. That would be the one big move the Orioles could look into, of if they want to go make a run for the whole thing next year. They have a lot of young talent. They got all the pieces around Shohei, and that's what Shohei's looking for. He's looking for a team that's ready to make a run. So to wrap it up, I'm going to go off with this. Do they need better hitters and position players? I don't really think so. Do they need better pitching? Yes. The Shohei Ohtani thing, that's the part where I'm going to leave it up to you. Leave in the comment down below. What do you think? Could Shohei Ohtani, what would the Orioles need to do to get him? Like, what's the money value going to be? Because obviously the Angels don't really hold any rights to him anymore, I don't think. So the Orioles don't have to worry about trading for him. What would it cost to get him? And then how would he fit in? And before anybody says he's not going to be pitching next year, he'll be hitting, but he's not going to be pitching. I don't really understand that yet, or part yet so far. How can you hit but not pitch? I mean, what happens if you get hit in the elbow while you're hitting? I'll digress against that. But let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to need to happen for this Orioles team to kind of bounce back next season? I'm going to wrap it up there. If you want to enjoy, as always, make sure you do go ahead and drop a like. It's always much appreciated if you do so. Like I said before, if there's anything you kind of want to add on to the Orioles season, how you kind of think the season went, what they changes they need to make going into the offseason and going forward to next year, what do you think about the Shohei Ohtani thing? Any opinion you have for kind of how the Orioles season went or is going to go for the offseason, let me know down in the comment section down below. If you're a fan of the content that I am posting here, anything sports content related, mainly going to be Cleveland sports, Ohio State, stuff like that. If you're a fan of that kind of stuff, or you're those kind of sports fans, and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.